What's up, everybody? Welcome to C&D Gaming. I'm here with Chase. I'm Dustin. We're gonna get this started today. See what we can do. We are on game five, right? Is that correct?
Yes, I believe game
Five,
five.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Game five
Playing
of our
playing
Jet
against the
season
Broncos.
slash podcast. We're gonna talk about some stuff today. Maybe some fantasy talk.
Yeah, let's talk
So
about some fantasy, bro. Since it's right around the corner here, getting ready to come up. I think that's a good idea.
yeah, it's coming up soon, man. The year's about to start.
Yeah, it'll be here
We've
before
already
we know
been
it.
doing some mock drafts. See how many other people been doing mock drafts. They're probably gonna call us crazy for doing them this early, but
You got to get prepared, man. Hey, you got to prepare.
hey, I lose every year, so the only way I can prepare is to do it early, I guess.
Hey, you won that big ass league last year, though. You won that
That's
20
true.
man
That's true.
somehow. I still ain't figured
Yeah,
out
that
how
was
you did
just
it, but you did it.
sheer luck. That's the only thing I can say. That was luck.
You had a rabbit's foot in your pocket that whole season, didn't you?
I was just talking about that the other day. I think I was like bottom five of the 20 halfway through the season, and then Kyler Murray came back from injury, dude, and I like turned it around. It was crazy, but
Oh,
all right. Let's see.
sorry, I should have let you had it, but it wouldn't let me switch for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, that's okay.
I
I actually
pressed circle,
forgot.
but that's all right.
Totally forgot.
Get to the next one. Hey, Ron, let's see what you're working with. All
Let's
right,
talk. Let's talk maybe some draft strategy. What do you think?
that sounds good. I like that idea. What are you thinking?
Well, I was kind of wondering. I mean, I know we know each other pretty well, so we kind of know our how we are. But we every year changes and stuff. So I was kind of wondering what position and stuff would you think you would be focusing on first this year? I mean, like I know it's kind of the same every year, but it changes a lot depending on the players and stuff in the league. So
Yeah.
kind of curious what you're going to lean heavy towards this year. Maybe what you're going to go with first.
Excuse me. Sorry, I got strangled there for a second. That's a good question.
Strangled.
This year, this year, I'm going to. I think what I'm gonna do is lean towards running back heavy, and I think That's gonna be my first pick. Just because me personally, I feel like there's less running backs that's really that can really help your team this year. But I think the wide receivers are very plentiful, and so I think the running backs is going to be key this year in this fantasy for me. So that's what I'm going to try.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, man. I kind of feel the same way. I mean, once you get outside that like top, I mean, doing a 12-man league, once everybody's picked one running back, the options are kind of limited. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
it is.
definitely something that I think maybe spend your first two, possibly even first 2, 3 draft picks really
Right.
focused on running backs, because I mean,
Yeah,
like you said, it's slim. It's a slim position. There's not a lot going on there.
yeah, it is.
I mean, you ain't got a good running back, you might as well call it quits, because it's going to be hard to win with just receivers.
Yeah, it is. Oh, see you later, homie.
Nice.
That's a pretty cool play.
So,
Uh,
you say you're going to focus on running backs.
yeah.
I mean, you think you're going to do your first one, first two? I mean, how many running backs are you going to really try to drill in at the beginning of the draft, do you think? I mean, personally, I
Uh,
think, like I said, maybe 2, 3 rounds is kind of what I'm thinking, but I definitely feel like my first two picks, I might really try to focus on getting some
yeah.
running backs.
Yes, definitely my first two picks is going to be running back, and that's. I mean, normally that's unusual. I don't normally do that. I try to get running back, wide receiver, but like I said, this year I feel like the running backs is more dire need, and so I'm gonna whatever order I'm picking, which I don't know how that'll work out, but I'm gonna definitely try to pick running back with my first two.
I'll circle back to that later. You're talking about the draft, positions and stuff, like where you're going to be at in the draft. But
Okay.
uh, how about this? I mean, and I'll tell you mine too. But like, you got any running backs that you're particularly looking out for? There's a couple guys that you got on your mind that you might really try to grab if you can get the chance to do it. I mean, like I said, I know that depends on what position you're drafting from. Really, will determine.
Yeah.
But you know, There's a couple of guys that if they're there that you definitely think you're gonna snag them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see. Let me say. You want me to give you my like say top 10 of my running backs who if they're available that I would probably try to take.
Let's just say
Uh,
top five. I mean, maybe
Top
a
five.
little easier. Top 10's kind of a lot to think about, to be honest, because I don't know if I can think
Okay.
of 10 running backs off the top of my head right now. But
All
I
right.
think top five's pretty solid. I mean,
So for me, I mean, like I said, this is also very dependent on what position, but obviously if CMC is available, I'd get him, um, no doubt, because I mean he's been playing lights out, and he does everything. He runs, catches, blocks, and definitely I would try to get him. I really like Saquon Barkley this year because he's on the Eagles' new team, and they still got a really 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 good offensive line, probably one of the top two or three offensive lines in the league. And oh, good pick, bro.
appreciate it, appreciate it.
So probably definitely Saquon because I feel like he's gonna have a way better offensive line with the Eagles than he did with the Giants. Um, Number three would probably be, um, let's see, I think maybe
It's a
maybe
lot of people
Derek
to think about, yeah.
maybe Derek Henry. I would say, like I said, he's kind of very similar to Saquon as far as like being on a new team, not necessarily his play style, but him being on a new team. I really think that he's going to do pretty good this year. So I could see Derek Henry. I think my number four, I would try. I don't like this team. I don't like the new rookie quarterback they got, but I'm gonna say DeAndre Swift just because I love him as a player. Because I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan and I watched him in college and
Well, I know you've had Swift on your team a couple times in the
I've
last couple of
had
years, and I mean,
I have had him in
he's
the
been
past
solid
and
for you.
and last year he was outstanding with the Eagles offensive line, which that's something why I think Saquon's going to do really good. Um, and then I had him when he was on the lines that he did good, except for he got hurt kind of a little while, but I mean he couldn't help that. But
Yeah, I noticed that
he's going to do good.
he stayed a lot healthier last year. That's
Yeah, yeah, he was
yeah,
really healthy, and he did really very good last year. He helped me
yeah.
a lot. Uh, so I really like him. I don't really necessarily like Chicago, but I'm gonna bet on Swift because he'll get the job done. And then I think number five pick for me, this running back that I would really like to see. I think Javante Williams here, the Denver running back. I think he's going to be a bounce back player this year, and I think he's going to do pretty good. So I would probably look into him.
I feel
So
like
that's
Denver
probably
ain't got a lot going for him, and he's one of the only
they don't.
things
Yeah,
that is.
he's one of the only bright spots on their team. So, and he's a good hard hitting bruiser running back. So I think he's gonna
Yeah.
have a really good season this year if he can stay healthy.
All right, that's pretty solid, bro. I mean, there's a couple I
Not too
agree with
bad.
you, a couple that I'm gonna be different with you though. I think, but I feel like I'm probably about to pick five totally different people than you just said, which is a good thing.
Right.
Um, but for me, I'm gonna go ahead and use Brees Hall. We're already on here. I mentioned him before and some of our other
Okay.
stuff. I really have a good feeling about Hall, and kind of the same thing you said. Maybe kind of be a bounce back player. I mean,
Yeah.
he was doing so good for his injury and stuff, and I really think that if he can stay healthy the whole year, that like he's gonna be a solid running back. So
That's true.
I say
Yeah.
he's somebody that like I might would even try to reach for a little bit. If I have to really jump out and try to grab him, I definitely feel like he's somebody I'd like to have as soon as I could get my hands on him.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think he's that good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That year he was healthy, man. It might have been his rookie year. He was really good, and he just got hurt last year. But
well, I mean, I think I said like he was on like track to do ridiculously good last year until the injury happened and stuff. So
right.
I
But
don't
that
see
and
any reason that he wouldn't jump back from that.
you think about it, like you look at it at the league last year in itself, in the last year and the year before that, it seems like the injuries has just been really really hard on running backs the last couple of years.
Man, it's just the way that they use them now. I feel like it just
Yeah.
some running backs are ran into the dirt so much, and I mean, you got these hard fields and stuff, and it's just a lot
Right.
going on. So,
Yeah, it is.
um, I'm gonna go
So,
ahead and go with one of my obvious picks here. I'm a Cardinal guy. I gotta say, man, I really think that James Conner's not a running back that I'm a reach for this year, and he's not
right.
somebody that I might even have on my team. But if he's there and he's available and he's maybe a little bit of a later, and I don't know how far he's gonna fall because I mean I think expectations are kind of high for him and stuff. But
Right.
if he does happen to kind of fall into a good position, I definitely think that I definitely think I'll go for it because
Right.
I mean the way he's talked and stuff, to what I've heard him say, and I mean he came out and said that last year was just him getting started. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
his ceiling, it was his floor. I mean he just said that a couple days ago, and I mean like I think
Yeah.
he's really looking to like come out this year and just tear it up if he can, man. Same thing, injuries kind of have bothered him, and he is getting a little older in age, but
Right.
I think that he has a really good chance of being really solid.
And
So
he has definitely blossomed as a player from when he left Pittsburgh to when he was with y'all. He's really showing, what he can perform with y'all rather than how he was in Pittsburgh, which it's probably a test
man,
to the coaching that he's
dude is
around.
like
But
the heart and soul of our team. Is crazy, man.
yeah,
He gets injured and everything just falls apart. It's crazy. So
right.
hopefully that won't be an issue this year. But let's see, number 3, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Pacheco. I've always
Okay.
liked Pacheco since he started. I mean, he just the way he runs, man. He just runs like he's angry. So I really
Right.
have a good feeling about him. And I mean, you can't go wrong with anybody on the Chiefs. I mean, I hate the Chiefs. Nobody
Yeah, I
likes
was
the
about
Chiefs.
to
We're
say,
tired of seeing it. But I mean, like you pick any player on that team, like any star player on that team, and they're going to do good. I mean, just the way that team
yeah,
runs and stuff. And
right.
I mean, he's one of them guys. Like he's gonna. I feel like he's probably gonna get even more involved in the years coming. I mean, because he kind of got eased into it, and he was splitting and stuff. But I have a feeling that he could really really take over the backfield this year and be their number one guy 100%. And
Oh
like I
yeah.
said, anybody on the Chiefs, man, you can't go wrong picking somebody like that. So
No.
he's a player that I would really try to grab early if I can.
Okay. That's not bad. I mean, I can see it. Yeah, he's definitely a bruiser.
Absolutely. I love that
So
guy, man.
number 4, who you got?
Number 4, it's getting a little tough to start thinking now. I'm probably gonna go with somebody on a team that you don't like. Oh, matter of fact, they're at the bottom down there, right there. The Falcons. I'm gonna go with Bijan Robinson.
Bijan. Okay, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
I had him
bad
last
throw.
year, and he had a weird year. I mean,
Yeah.
I think with some stuff changing, some players changing, and I mean Kirk Cousins coming in. I know he's a passer, but he's also a good quarterback to run an offense. And I feel like if they change some stuff up with the coaching and having a quarterback of that style, I feel like that running back is going to do a lot better.
Right.
And I mean, he had a fantastic year last year, but had some questionable calls and games and situations and stuff. But I think a lot of that's going to be cleared up. So
Yeah.
I
that
don't
makes
see any
sense.
reason
I mean,
that he wouldn't be. I mean, honestly, dude, I don't see a reason he wouldn't be top 5 running backs this year. Honestly, so
yeah.
I
That's
feel
a
like it's a
good
good
pick.
bet
I
to
mean,
go
I
with
can
him.
see it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
as much as that, I mean, they're
Yeah.
Atlanta's, in my division, and obviously I'm a Panthers fan. As much as I hate Atlanta, I mean, I agree with you. I really think their team got a heck of a lot better with Cousins, and they're the ones I'm scared the most about this year, if I'm being honest, in their division. So we'll see how it all plays out. But
Yeah, I mean, y'all's division's gonna be kind of tough, and the Falcons. I mean, they're looking a lot different. That's a big point. That's a big reason I
yeah,
would pick somebody like him, is because, like I said, I mean, Kirk Cousins, I feel like changes the whole dynamic of that team. And I mean,
yeah,
you look at, I mean, the Vikings didn't have the best running game in the world when he was there, but I feel like that
right,
was due to some other facts. But there was a couple of years, Cook and Cousins. I mean, they were in sync, and I mean,
yeah, they was, yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
if he can get that kind of relationship with Robinson, dude, I feel like they're gonna be unreal.
Oh yeah, I can see it. That's for sure. I can see it. All right, number 5.
Number 5, we'll go with another kind of. It's another one kind of like Connor. I might not really reach hard for him, but if they're available, I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs, who we talked about a little bit before too.
Okay. Yeah.
He's got a change of scenery. I mean, the
Yeah,
dude.
new team.
I
Yep.
mean, I think last year he was maybe top. He was definitely in the top 10 last year. I don't remember his exact numbers off the top of my head, but I mean, he had a great season, and I think the change of scenery and going to a new team and kind of shaking things up might be a good thing for the guy. And I
Right.
could really see him. I mean, it might take him a little bit of time to get settled in and stuff, but I think once he does, he's going to be just back to the same way that he's been his whole career. And I mean,
Yeah.
he's a good player, and I think he's got a good chance of being, top 10, top 12 running back next year.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
he's somebody I think that, like I said, if he's available and it falls to me right, then I might, take a chance on him. I mean, I wouldn't, like I said, I'm not going to reach really hard for him and try to get him if he's far ahead or something. But
Right. Right.
if
Yeah.
it comes to it and he falls and he's lined up in a spot that I feel comfortable with, I definitely will reach out and grab him.
Yeah. That's good. I do not blame you. Honestly, I would. So that's our both of our top fives, and I'm gonna.
Yeah, we didn't even have a one single same player in our top five.
We didn't. That's crazy. But I'm gonna give. I'm gonna give you like a couple. Let's see. What is that? What? How do you say that? They're honorable mentions. I'm gonna give you a
Oh
couple
yeah,
honorable
yeah,
mentions.
yeah. Honorable mentions. Yeah.
That I would still take. But they didn't make my list. Number one for my honorable mention, I would definitely do. Now, granted, he got hurt last year, but Nick Chubb, man, I love Nick Chubb.
I was very, very close to saying his
Yeah,
name when I was thinking there, and I was thinking like
yeah,
Nick Chubb sounds, when you were talking
yeah,
about Javante,
yeah,
Chubb was kind of in my head.
yeah. I mean, he's another Georgia Bulldog. But that dude, man, I love him. He's very quiet, but he does his job. Everybody loves him, and I really hope that he can bounce back really healthy and has a good season when he comes back. But Nick Chubb would probably be one of my top honorable mentions. And after that, I'm gonna give some love to Carolina. I'm gonna say Chuba Hubbard, and Chuba has grown and grown and grown, man, since he came to Carolina. And last year, I think he got to show a little bit, that he can be the dude. And I'm really excited for him this year. So I think Chuba would be a good fantasy option this year, because obviously Carolina got upgrade offensive line, which we really, really, really needed. So I'm grateful that we did that. So I'm gonna say him, and then I'm gonna say one more for my honorable mention. I'm gonna say Mr. Aaron Jones. He's on a new team, new scenery, and I really like him also, and I think he's still got a lot of in him.
That's some good. That's good honorable mentions.
That's some
You
good
give
ones.
three, I'll give three, I suppose. I think that's fair. So
All
I
right.
had two in my head too that I was kind of bouncing around, and I was
Yeah.
really debating on throwing this guy in my top five, and I wasn't sure. And I mean, I mentioned him before, but Kyrene Williams is a
Okay.
guy that I have a lot of interest in. I
Right.
I mean, I definitely think I don't know why I didn't put him in my top five, honestly, but I'm kind of iffy. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't really like the Rams, but I mean that's not a good enough reason not to pick a player. But
Right.
I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
There's just something that's kind of holding me back from fully committing to the guy. But I mean, I don't know what it is. I can't
Yes.
figure out
Yeah.
what's stopping me. But I mean, I definitely think same situation for him. If he's available and I can scoop him up, and it's not unreasonable, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
for it. I mean, he had a great season last year. I mean, I think he's going to continue to grow and have better seasons, beyond. But I'm just not. I'm not sold on where the Rams are at as a team. So he's kind of
Right. Yeah.
the reason I didn't put
Yeah.
him
They're
in my,
kind of
a
they're
little
kind of in a
higher up.
weird spot. They are, but I still think they got a really good team. But they're kind of in a they're not on the level they was when they went to the Super Bowl.
Right, and I mean, some stuff's moving around. They've changed up a little bit and stuff, and I'm just not sure what's going to happen with their team. But I
Yeah.
definitely still feel like he's going to be a solid running back no matter what the situation. So he'd be an
Oh
honorable
yeah.
mention for me.
Yeah.
Another one
That's
that
a
was
good
kind
one.
of in my head. This is a guy that I know you really like, Kenneth Walker. He,
Okay. Yeah. I forgot
yeah, I
about
know.
him. I got to
Yeah, I
lie.
kind of figured you did.
Yeah.
I assumed he was going to be in your top five, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, same thing. Like the guy, he's unreal. I mean, he's a good running back, but he's kind of the same situation that I was just saying. I mean, like once again, Seattle and Arizona's division, so I don't really like
All
them
right.
that much either. But
Yep.
kind of same thing with the Rams. Like, I'm not really sure where their team is right now. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen with Seattle. I mean, they didn't have. I mean, I can't say nothing. Arizona had a terrible
They
year, but
they got a
Seattle's
whole
year was
new
kind of iffy. And it's
yeah.
just a lot changed. Yeah, I mean,
They have
losing
a
their
whole new
coach.
regime, don't they? Yeah, they got a whole
Yeah,
new
so
coaching staff and all. So
it's
that's
kind of
true.
hard to say, but
Yeah,
I
that's a
don't know
good
what's
one.
going to happen with that
That's a really
situation
good
there.
one
But
too. I honestly would, I would probably pick him over Javonte Williams. Honestly, if I would have thought about it, but I had forgot about it. So
too bad you can't take it back now. No.
okay, no take back. Yeah. All right. Who's your number 3 honorable mention?
Number 3. Ugh, I got to think about this one for a second, man. I'm going to go with Buffalo Bills. I'm going to go with Jared Cook.
Okay. James Cook.
Or James Cook. Yeah, sorry, my
Yeah.
bad. James Cook. My
You
fault.
good.
I was
You
looking at
good.
somebody's
You
name
good.
there at the bottom popped up.
He's another one of them Georgia Dogs.
Yeah, another
Let's
guy
go.
that I guess we kind of maybe sort of forgot about him because, I mean, he
I
is
had him.
somebody that you both enjoy.
I had him in the
and,
back of my mind, which I mean, yes, I
yeah.
would definitely take him in fantasy for sure. But I don't know if he's somebody I would draft in my like top 2 draft spots for.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about him, too. I
You know,
mean, he had a couple of, issues like with fumbles and stuff. And, I mean, nothing like severe. And, I mean, I think he can clean it up and stuff. But
right?
it's kind of, I mean, he's same. I know I'm repeating myself sort of, but it's kind of the same thing with the Bills. Like, I'm not entirely sure what the Bills are going to look like. But, I mean,
Yeah,
can't really bet against Josh Allen. So, I mean,
that's true.
I would
That's
say
true.
that, anybody you pick on the Bills that's kind of in that star category is probably going to do pretty good. So I'm not going to worry about him too much. I
Right.
think he'd be a solid pick if he falls into a good spot and, maybe right outside the top 5 choices. I
Yeah,
think he'd be a good one.
that's pretty good. That's a good list. I like that. We all said somebody different, and so
Yeah,
that's
I
pretty
mean,
cool.
I feel like, we both had pretty solid answers. And, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
couple of guys. I mean, I would have agreed with you on a couple of the guys, but I was just trying to, be a little different and pick some different
Yeah.
things and stuff.
Right.
But,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a tough situation with the running backs for sure this season, but we
Yep.
got a couple of options out there. I
Definitely.
mean, like I said, it's just going to be that second round of running backs, man. It's going to be tough, like, picking, because once them first 12 picks are gone through, and I mean, I think a lot of people, I mean, maybe not, but I think a lot of people's strategy is going to have to be running back heavy because, like we said, I mean, there's not a ton of options.
Right.
So, we're doing a 12-man league. If anybody's doing anything more, 10-man league might be a little easy, but anything more
Yeah.
than like 12 or more, it's going to be tough because once them first
Yeah.
batch of running backs are gone, it's going to be a tough situation.
We've done.
And that might be a good question, You
Yeah.
don't have to give me 5, but maybe like just 1 or 2 like good later round running backs that you can think of. You know what I mean? Like, you got anybody on your mind that could be a later round pick? I'll go ahead and tell you somebody I already got on my mind.
Okay.
And I'm going to
There
say
you go.
Arizona again, I know. But our new running back, Benson, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be the best running back in the league or nothing, but I think he's going to be solid. And like, I think they might kind of split him and Connor a little bit
Yeah.
later in the season.
Right.
So he might be a good late, round pick if you need a good backup and you ain't
Yeah.
got a lot of choices and
I
he's still
saw-
available.
That's what I feel the same way as you, honestly, for Carolina with their rookie
Yeah.
running back from Texas, Jonathan Brooks, because he's recovering from an ACL injury that he tore in Texas, and he's playing, he's getting healthy, but I think it's somebody that'll slowly work into the games and probably later in the season. So he's somebody that I would pick up late and could see him, get some playing time. So
Yeah.
I'd like that. Some of the rookies.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably most of the solid answers of some of these rookies that maybe are kind of a little overthought, like, overlooked and not thought about so
Yeah.
much and stuff, So those 2 guys in particular, I mean, yeah, I definitely could see them both having, sliding down the board and maybe not being noticed or thought about a ton. And
Yeah.
especially because, I mean, our teams are not the best teams in the league by far.
Right.
So, people are kind of scared of picking
Yeah.
players off of teams like that and stuff.
I mean,
sometimes.
definitely Carolina. We was the bottom of everything last year. Every category, we was pretty much the
we was
bottom.
pretty close to the bottom ourselves. So
Yeah. So I can't really say nothing. So until we start winning some ball games, I just gotta bite my tongue. So. But yeah, that's pretty good amount of running backs, and that's I had something on my mind two a while ago.
Oh,
Ooh,
what a God!
that was a
Who was
really good
that? I'm
pick,
sorry. Oh, Gardner. Okay,
Gardner.
that was crazy. Holy crap!
It looks different, don't it? I changed all of our cornerbacks numbers in the 80s,
Yeah,
so
yeah, I see
that's
that
pretty
now. I
cool.
was wondering who that was. Tripped me out.
Dude, I think I'm gonna just give it back to him. What you think for the
Yeah,
rest
man.
of the game?
Didn't realize how good
We
we were doing here.
we
So,
got a good lead, so let's just play some defense rest of the game.
oh yeah. Anything else you want to throw out there about? I mean, running back. This has been a running back heavy
Running back
conversation.
fantasy,
That's fine.
yeah.
So, you got any other
Um,
maybe tips or tricks or hints or anything? Anything we can think of that it's like a solid
I
idea. I
think
mean,
one thing that's key in fantasy, if you want to win or at least do really good in fantasy and be some of the top teams, you really got to pay attention to if a player's going to play that week, if they're being held out,
yeah,
what team they're playing against, how good is their defensive line. You got to look at like several different little variables to find out if it's a good match. Because like you might have a running back on your bench that's playing an easier team that's got an easier defensive line to go up against than your starter, and you might want to switch them because they can get you more fantasy points. So yeah, there's a lot of little stuff that you got to like pay attention to if you really want to try to win. I mean, obviously it's not certain, and whatever happens, but you want to try to put your players in the best position to get the most points.
that's some good points there. Is there any teams that you can think of this year that's kind of doing the committee running back thing? I mean, I know maybe the Dolphins are still kind of doing a little bit of a committee situation. I'm not sure. Trying to think of some
Uh,
teams that maybe would be
that's a good
maybe
question.
somebody to kind of avoid. I mean, because those committee teams are kind of tricky. I mean, even with Chubb,
Yeah,
when he was
I
splitting
can
with
see.
Hunt, it was a lot. It was a big hit on his fantasy when he was splitting with
Yeah,
Hunt for so long and stuff. And it's kind of tricky, like
I could
to play with
see.
them teams that do that stuff.
I could see Dallas being one of those teams this year.
Think
Honestly,
so?
yeah, because they don't. I mean, they don't. They never drafted nobody. They didn't sign nobody other than Zeke. They signed Zeke back, but
Yeah.
other than Zeke, they have a couple. They got that one guy's name. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Uh, Dang, I wish I could remember his name, but he's all right. They used him some last year. I think it's Ricky Dowdle or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So they
I
might,
say this too. To always avoid the Ravens. Yeah, their backfield's
Ravens.
trash. So
That's true. They usually always running back committee, even though I
a
said
ton
Derrick
of them.
Henry
Yeah.
from like my third pick, but still.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, yeah. Henry's probably going to be a goal line, master. So I mean, he'll
Yeah,
be solid because he's probably going to get them touchdowns and stuff. But
that's
like
true.
yardage wise, it's going to be tough to find a running back on their team that's going to be their yardage back. I mean,
Yeah.
Lamar
I
freaking
thought
being a wild card.
Washington. They usually use a committee sort of too. So I would say maybe
Hey, and
Washington.
Chicago, matter of fact, too. Chicago does that a lot.
Yeah, Chicago.
I don't know what their plan is
The
this year, but I mean, they
Chargers.
do
The
it a lot.
Chargers could possibly do that.
Yeah.
There's,
There's a
I
couple
mean,
teams
there's.
maybe not necessarily totally avoid them, but there's a couple teams that
Teams that
I wouldn't personally try to take somebody quick from one of those teams or anything. I mean, because
Yeah.
that committee stuff's kind of tricky unless you really know who's going to be the main back down. I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
It's gonna be
Whoever's gonna be
tricky,
the number
but
one.
yeah,
That's it's. You can. I mean, we can guess at this all night long, but in all honesty, you just gotta wait and find out and start watching the season and just pay attention to the different teams to see how they're playing people and then
study that
eventually.
preseason too, man.
Yeah,
Honestly,
a couple. I mean, give it like the first 2 or 3 weeks, and after that, you should have a kind of a good idea of what to do with your players and who to grab that's still available. Also, because that's
Yeah,
the waiver wire is something very important to pay attention to,
that free
and
agency.
and not blowing your waiver wire pick to save it and use it at the right moment is very important.
Yeah, that's true. Many of people in our league, man, they've used that thing, and then it comes time somebody drops somebody or somebody comes back from injury, and you're sitting there waiting and hoping and
Yeah.
praying you get. I mean, I've been in that situation before, but
Right. Yeah.
I would like to add something here since we're getting low on time at the end here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
anybody watches this, anything I said, don't listen to me because I never win. So if you're gonna listen to any advice from this video, I would take Chase's since he's normally in the top 3 at least of the league. I'm always in the bottom. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's, it's just fate. Honestly, it's just all
It's
luck.
injuries always kill me. I got an
Yeah.
injury issue.
That's
So
what. Yeah, that's
I'll tell you
true. I
what,
mean,
when I do my draft, I'll post it where everybody can see it, and y'all just draft everybody opposite of me, and you'll win. Because all my guys are going to get injured and die by the end of the year. So
you won 1 out of 3 last year, so I mean that's pretty good.
yeah, okay.
Nah, fantasy is fun though, man. I really enjoy
Yeah,
it.
it's fun. I mean, we don't really do it, for seriousness. It's just kind of a
No.
fun thing. But
Yeah. If anybody,
hopefully, I mean, yeah, hopefully anything that we said, hopefully all this, hopefully some of this will help, some people
yeah.
maybe starting out.
And if any of
some
y'all
ideas or
watching,
something.
yeah, if any of y'all watching is got anything like pointers or anything that we didn't talk about, leave us a comment. Let us know. We'll be glad to read it and talk about that. Maybe another video that we do. So just let us
Yeah,
know.
and let us know what you think of the people we picked, and I mean, kind of, be honest with us, like if you think it was some solid
Stupid.
choices or
If you
some
think it
terrible
was
choices. I
dumb
mean,
or think it was smart, let us know what you think.
we're winding down here, so
Yep. Last
we'll
last play of the game.
yes,
Let's see.
we
Bro, I
go ahead
thought
and
I
wrap
had
it
a
up.
pick on that one.
It was close.
I was like yes, and then a nope. It was just a little too high.
But, yeah, we appreciate everybody, checking us out and stuff. And kind of as always, if you will, just share with your family, your friends, spread us around, give us some likes and subscribe and stuff. And just, we appreciate you watching. Hope some of this advice kind of helps out. And I mean,
Yeah.
like Chase said, leave us some comments, let us know what you thought of the videos and what you thought of our
This
picks and
is
stuff.
bro. I don't know if you realize this, but we just held out 2 teams to 0 in 2 weeks in a row.
I see. No, I wasn't really paying attention. I was so zoned in on our conversation.
I,
Yeah, we
I know.
destroyed them. I
We
don't know
did.
why that was so crazily easy, but
I had
Bro.
5 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1.5 sacks. So I mean, it's not too bad. Good game. Dustin had
Couple
2
of-
tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, 2 interceptions. You had to have a heck of a game, man. Yeah, you
Russell
did.
Wilson's becoming one of my favorite quarterbacks. He loves throwing me the ball, bro. So
All right, well, we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll bring you another video here next week, and let's see. Oh, we're heading to KC. They just told us, so let's get it. Got to face them again, man.
yeah.